Welcome into the LMU men's basketball report for February 13th. I'm Scott Earl, and then again with head coach Josh Schertz to catch you up with the past week and preview the week ahead for the Rail Splitters. Coach, looking back just broadly to last week, an 87-67 win here against Tusculum, and then go over to Newberry and 92-85 win where you were down by 23 points in the first half, but you come out with a win your 10th straight game, and your 8th straight 20-win season. So just talk about the past week.
Obviously, feels like Tusculum game was a year ago, not a week ago. But we came out, I thought, and it was not a great performance. I thought Tusculum really played with more energy, which credit Mike and his kids because they had played the night before at Georgia Tech and gotten back at 4:30 in the morning and gotten up and gotten a bus and came back here to play. And I thought they were the more energetic team. I thought we got off to a decent start. I thought really did. Chris Perry got out of the gates really well and scored a bunch there early. But again, I thought we struggled at least from a conditioning standpoint. We looked a little bit fatigued mentally and physically, and we were fortunate. I think Tusculum had a night where they got really good looks and they just missed shots that they normally make, and we were fortunate in that regard. But to our guys' credit, we did enough things to get the job done. You never take and don't not celebrate a win, and I think it's a quality win over a good team. Tusculum's got a good basketball team. I think they're 11-13, and they're certainly dangerous and capable. Like I said, we were fortunate we caught them on a night where they didn't make as many shots they normally do. But our guys did enough good things to win, and certainly got off to offensively did some good things early. So it was a good win. The Newberry game was obviously just crazy. To be down like we were 23 in the first half. I told the guys, I think I called a timeout with about 7.5 minutes to go. We were down 23. It was basically the inverse of the Carson-Newman game here. It felt like we couldn't throw it in the ocean, and they were hitting everything, and they were playing as well as they could play. We were playing as poorly as we could play, and in the huddle, I just told them, I said, this is either 8 minutes from now is going to be a 30 to 35 point halftime margin, or it's going to be 15 or less. And I said, if it's 15 or less as we get to halftime, it's manageable. I said, if it's 30-35, we have no chance. It's going to be what we do here in these last 8 minutes. And I thought, we buckled down, cut it to 7, and went in a half feeling pretty good about ourselves, and felt much worse about ourselves when it got back to 14 with 11.5 to go. And then I thought we really obviously made a bunch of big plays and did some good things defensively, and we're a little bit more together in transition and how we guard and things. But like I told you in the post game, Newberry played us about as well as a team has played us on both ends of the floor all year for the first 30 minutes of that game. They were terrific, not only offensively in terms of their shot making, but defensively. They were really active and aggressive, and they were flying around, making it really difficult. Though they guarded the ball really well, rebounded well. Everything that you need to do to be successful. But I was really proud of our guys. I thought we showed a lot of toughness, a lot of grit, a lot of competitiveness. A lot of competitive character in that situation, because to be down like we were in a tough environment on the road against a team that was playing as well as they were playing. I thought we were in the same situation in November. It wasn't exactly the same, but similar against Huntsville. We were getting our butts kicked, and we quit. And this time we showed some maturity, some resiliency, and we fought. So it was good to see that. It was good to see the group dig in, kind of dig their heels in, keep competing, and we were fortunate. Obviously, I think we took the lead for the first time with about 2.5 minutes to go, and were able to make plays down the stretch, a couple of really big offensive plays, and then obviously Emmanuel had 2 incredible shot blocks there to take away opportunities for them in the late game.
Well, and you kind of hit on this. It seemed like focusing on the Newberry game early on, it seemed just as simple as Newberry was just making shots and we weren't. But from an X's and O's perspective, what really changed for you guys to be able to make that turnaround? Because You see Newberry, they're 7 for 11 from the three early on. They looked like they were going to break the sack record again. Had 12 threes in the first half. But then really what changed for you guys to be able to make that comeback, obviously down that such a huge hole?
Well, I mean, we tried some different things. You know, we tried to go small and go super small with really Dorian at the 5. We tried going with Emmanuel and Chris together. We tried just one of the bigs. You know, we were having real trouble in transition, guarding them. I think as the game went on, our transition defense improved. We gave less open threes in transition. Newberry's a really tough team to guard. I think you could make a case. I don't know. I mean, I don't see them every single game. But the 2 games we've played them, you know, they're as hard to guard as anybody in the league because they have so much shooting, and they seem to shoot it really well against us. They're 35 for 79 in the 2 games against us from 3. So, you know, they don't shoot it like that every night. If they did, they'd be one of the best teams in the country. But, you know, the 2 times we played them, they're very difficult to guard. I thought, though, as the game wore on, our transition defense improved dramatically. Our one-on-one defense improved dramatically. We got beat less with Newberry. That's where it starts. You know, you have, you know, the beginning, which is your transition defense. You have the middle where they're trying to beat you one-on-one and force help and get you into rotations and either beat you one-on-one and lay it in or beat you one-on-one, force help and get an open 3. And then you got the close the possession where they shoot it and they generally commit 5 to the offensive glass. Because they're trying to get a tip on and get an offensive rebound, which usually leads to broken floor threes. I thought as the game wore on, we did a much better job in all 3 phases, the beginning of the possession, the middle, and the end, and made things more difficult on them than we did in the beginning. But credit them. I mean, the first, you know, the first half or the first, 12 minutes for sure. I mean, it was unbelievable. You look up on the scoreboard, and I think we were down 32-11 at one point, and I was just like I said, it was really the exact. We're on the receiving end of the exact same situation that Carson Newman was here. You know, we came out on fire, crowd was energized, we couldn't miss against them, and they couldn't throw it in the ocean, and we felt like the same way. And Newberry did a good job guarding us. I think, you know, they were more solid defensively than normal in terms of, you know, they didn't trap us and run and jump. They tried to play it more straight up, which I think caught us off guard. We expected them to be more, you know, running and jumping and trying to speed us up and play us the way they've played us really the last 7 years. And this was the most, you know, just kind of solid man-to-man, very little run and jump press that we've seen from them. So I think that caught us off guard a little bit, and we had to get to where, you know, we finally found a rhythm offensively, you know, in terms of how to attack what they were doing. And I think from there we played well and played better offense, you know, down the stretch. Obviously kicked a few in there, and Lou shot it well, and Trey shot it well, and we got some good looks. So ultimately, great team win. Like I said, showed a lot of resiliency, a lot of resolve, and adverse, you know, circumstances. I thought our guys did a great job competing the whole 40 minutes. Didn't give in when things got hard, and that's a credit to them.
Well, and obviously Lou played outstanding. He seems to love playing against Newberry. 33 points, but a double-double from Emmanuel Terry off the bench, 11 points, 15 rebounds, and then a couple blocks, 3 blocks, particularly the one at the end that really kind of broke open and turned it into a 3-point game. Really a 3-point turnaround, a 4-point turnaround for you guys on the other end. So what have you seen from him since he's come back?
Well, certainly I think, you know, it's been, you know, great for us. I'm watching him back, and I have no idea how we went 9-1 without him, because we definitely wouldn't have won the Wingate game without him, and we don't beat Newberry without him. You know, it's one of those deals. It was, you know, Chris was obviously less than his best on Saturday, and you know, Emmanuel was just tremendous. His rebounding, his shot blocking. He only gave him 3, but I promise you there was more than that. But he had certainly the block of the game, the play of the game, in my opinion. You know, there at 86-85, Lamell Washington face cuts him and gets what should be a wide open layup, which was obviously poor on his part, but he, you know, he's so athletic and so plays so hard that he reacts, and as the layup's going up, he goes up, and not only he blocks it off the backboard, we get a we get the rebound or the block, and then we pitch it ahead, and Trayvon gets a and one on the other end in transition, all created off his shot block. He took away 2 points and then got us 2 points on the other end. So, but he's been great. I mean, he 13 and 9 against Wingate. I think he had 13 and 4 or 5 against Tuscaloosa. He gets 11 and 15, against Newberry, and he's a guy that he changes the game defensively with his energy, his effort. He's a great rebounder. He was leading the league, I think, in rebounding when he got hurt, leading the league in shot blocks when he got hurt, and we missed him. We missed his rim protection. We missed his rebounding. He's a guy that can put the ball in the basket some. He's scoring the ball at a solid clip. I think he's been in double figures all 3 games. So, again, without him, these past 2 Saturdays, we certainly don't win either game. So glad to have him back, and excited that he's going to be with us here for the stretch run. So it's again, I watching him play the last 3 games, it makes me appreciate how incredible it was that we were able to win 9 of 10 when he wasn't with us, because that all the stuff he brings to the table. Like I said, he changed the game for us defensively and on the glass.
When the stretch run begins here on Wednesday night, you make a trip over to Mars Hill, and if you're able to get through that one, obviously the Mars Hill struggled a little bit, 3 and 15 in sack play, and lost 8 of their last 10 games. If you're able to get through that, then you come back here for a game that could be for a tie for first place with Queens on Saturday. So talk about the week upcoming.
Well, I think you take Mars Hill, and Queens certainly obviously handled them easily on Saturday, but prior to that, they'd been in every game. Vic's done a wonderful job. I know they've named him, permanent head coach over there, and I think that's very deserved. He's taken that team and really done an outstanding job with them. You watch them, and they're playing hard. They're very competitive, and they've had their chances to win a bunch of games. One of those ones where you recognize they already beat Wingate there. And they're probably going to get somebody else. You just can't, hope it's not you. But he's done a wonderful job. He really has, and they're a good team. I think much better than their record indicates because of how many close games they've been in and came up on the wrong end of those games. But they've been in every one except for really recently, except for that Queens game on Saturday. So we got to certainly focus all our attention on the task at hand. I think anytime you get to looking at what happened previously, like if we're still locked into what happened in Newberry, or certainly thinking ahead to Saturday at Queens, you're going to miss your next turn at bat, and our next turn at bat is Mars Hill, and everybody's got to be completely invested and focused on what we got to do to play well and win there, because certainly it's not going to be an easy task. We'll have to go out there and earn it. Queens on Saturday is they're playing, and I've said this, early in the year, and I stick by it. I mean, they're as good as any team in the country. They're certainly one of the handful of teams that could win a national championship. They have all the makings of a really good team. You could watch them. They're great defensively. They're unselfish offensively. They play extremely hard. They've got terrific talent. They've got all the markings, and there's no secrets on what elite teams look like, and they check all the boxes for sure. So they're a team that I think we'll see. I mean, we're going to have to certainly play our best game of the season to have a chance to be competitive in a game like that against a team like that. I thought we went down there and our guys played their tails off. In Charlotte, we just weren't quite good enough. We couldn't guard them. They scored 103, and we weren't able to guard them. So we're going to have to do a much better job defensively. We're going to have to be much more sound and solid on both ends of the floor to have a chance against them. But this is the time of year you got to start playing your best games, and I think we got to go in and try to play our best game Wednesday against Mars Hill, and then we got to try to inch that thing forward and play our best game of the year against Queens, and see how we stack up. The stretch run here this season as we get to this point of February, as the games get fewer, each one takes on more significance, and you want to be playing for high stakes at this time of year. And I think we put ourselves over the year in position to do that. And now it's about going out and trying to perform your best in these high-stake games.
And obviously that Queens game looms large. You talked about it, a 103-101 overtime loss at Charlotte. You had several three-point leads there in overtime, and so obviously that one's kind of the key game, the signature game on the schedule at this point, remaining in the regular season. So, one, how do you get the guys prepared for Mars Hill and not to overlook that game, and then turn around and get ready for the Queens game?
Well, I think anytime you are dealing with kids, I mean, there's always you always worry about the psychological disposition of 18 to 22-year-olds in any scenario. But that's how you look at our league every Wednesday, every Saturday. There's always results that are like, well, wow, that's surprising. How'd that happen? And usually it happened because like in any competitive situation, anything can happen. You can take a look. Like I said, Mars Hill is a much better team. Their record, and Mars Hill doesn't have to beat us in a best of 7. They got to be better than us Wednesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's it. And if we don't take care of our business against Mars Hill, the game Saturday won't be for as high a stakes as if we take care of our business against Mars Hill. It'll still be an important game. It'll be the most important game of the season because it's our next game. But it won't have the same value. So I think everybody, again, it has to be, you have to take, each turn at bat and be completely immersed in that. And I think that's the way you go about, the best way for us to go about our business is to, again, if you're thinking about, what happened this past Saturday, and man, Newberry, what a game, we're down 23, we rally back, and we're living in that, or thinking about that, or we're thinking about, gosh, Saturday, Queens is coming here, what a big game, what are the implications, all that stuff, and you don't focus on the task at hand. That's where you're going to get beat, because again, Mars Hill is going to be completely focused on what's going on. They're going to be at home. They're playing, like I said, outside of Saturday, where they laid an egg and Queens played great. They're playing really, really good basketball, and again, their record doesn't do them justice in terms of how good and how competitive they've been. So if we walk in there and feel like it's gonna, we take it for granted, we're going to get beat, and we have to go out and earn it. And you got to earn it by playing hard and playing together and playing tough and smart. And we're going to have to do all those things to win on Wednesday. We have no chance if we're not completely focused on Mars Hill and what we got to do to earn a win down there and at their place.